I am honored to welcome Rafaela Azevedo, a trailblazer in software development, test automation, and Web3 technologies. Rafael is the founder and CEO of the Chaincademy, a platform dedicated to accelerating tech professionals' careers by providing roadmap guidance and connecting them with startups. She's also TechWomen 100 Awards winner, STEAM ambassador, Google Develop expert, and a passionate mentor helping professionals break into the tech industry. With an impressive career spanning QA, DevOps, blockchain development, and cybersecurity, Rafaela has worked with leading organizations including HM Revenue Customs, Alpha FX Group, and LloydsPharmacy as a senior QA consultant and architect. She's an instructor at Test Automation University, where she teaches courses on contract testings with Pact and Blockchain Testing, and she actively shares her expertise through her tech blog and open source contributions. Beyond her technical achievements, Rafael is a strong advocate for women in tech, career development, and salary negotiation, mentoring individuals on how to build an investable MVP, secure their first job in tech, and establish credibility in the industry. Her extensive knowledge in Cypress, Selenium, WebDriver, Kubernetes, Terraform, AWS, Web3, and OpenAI technologies make her a powerhouse in software engineering and blockchain innovation. In this episode, we'll dive into Rafaela's inspiring journey, her insights into test automation and blockchain technology, and how he's empowering the next generation of tech leaders. Please join me welcoming Rafaela Azevedo to the podcast.
Thank you, May. That was a really long introduction. That's why I never like to talk about me because there's so many different things that I have done that it seems that it's just too long. We usually just say, yeah, I have been, working in tech for I don't know 17 years, something like that, and I don't say all the things because it's just too long. But I'm also like this is quite the interesting part. I'm also like a retired drummer. I used to play drums for a long time, and I'm also a dog's mom. So I'm not like a bot.
All right, it's really good to have you here today. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And it would be wonderful to hear more about your story and understand how you become who you are. And exactly for that, I would like to know more how do you view professional development and continuing education?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the invite, Nay. We worked together, and the future I think is the important part that we should say as well. When I was in São Paulo, and when I was still living in Brazil, and you asked what the how do I see the professional development with the education, right? They are quite interconnected, and also I know that people they separate like professional and personal development, but they are really kind of things that they are together. And education is something, especially in tech, that you definitely cannot stop learning. And not only the technical skills. For example, I started, really technical, doing the test automation and learning, different kind of programming languages. There's something that I totally recommend for people, and I wish I knew that before, is like soft skills. They are really key, and sometimes it's the reason why you leave a job is because you have a bad manager or something like that, and it's not about technical skills, or sometimes the reason why you are made redundant is also sometimes not because of your technical skills that much. It's also because of your soft skills that you need to improve. But education is something since I was, I don't know, since I was a kid, I was always a nerd kind of person. So I was like, my mom was saying that I was like in this story, I was like sleeping with the books under my pillow. I was always really curious about things, but of course there are topics that I'm not that interested in, and I was not when I was a kid. So if you're asking me anything about geography or a bit of history, depending on the subject, I'm not gonna know anything. I'm gonna be completely like ignorant. For the things that you are interested and you see a potential, is always good to pursue that. For example, Web3, emerging techs. I'm really passionate about any kind of emerging techs, and I have been pushing and learning myself since the beginning when nobody was talking about. And this was completely outside of my work hours, the 9 to 5 job, because 9 to 5 job, okay, you learn things sometimes you don't learn things, sometimes you don't learn things that you want to learn. I think independent of the professional development inside of your job, you definitely should always look for upskilling yourself in different areas. You never know, and they are like cross-functional as well. As I said, like, things that I learned, like soft skills, because I saw, I'm working tech. I was learning a lot about tech skills, but not as much as soft skills. And I see the difference not only on when I do the interviews nowadays and when I communicate with people, also on my personal life. Like, I was able to continue paying the same. And this is something that I told everybody, and I keep saying, I managed to keep the rent the same for 3-4 years now during the pandemic, and was all because of the soft skills that I pushed myself to learn. I don't see a life without education, to be honest, although it's something that I realize, and I'm more self-aware now, is we push ourselves to have a lot of knowledge that is important and is fine, but knowledge is something that is easy to get outdated. So basically, for example, tech skills, forget it. If you learn something now, in, I don't know, 3-4 years, nobody's using anymore, especially, for example, in blockchain and Web3. Even the course that you mentioned that I did for Test Automation University, I was teaching about using tools that nowadays they are completely deprecated. And this was, what, 2 years ago? So nobody is using anymore. So yeah, knowledge is important, but just be aware that wisdom is something that is never gonna get outdated, and wisdom is more like soft skills, I would say. And yeah, definitely something that you need to keep in mind and try to have like a balance between, tech knowledge, be a bit more wise, and make, right choices depending on the moment of the life that you are, like short and long-term goals.
All right. Thank you. You gave us a lot to talk about it. I have some notes here which I would like to understand more. So as you said, soft skills, they are key. You do understand that most of us in the beginning of career, mostly the reason why we get a job is exactly because of our hard skills, our capability to solve problems and get things done, which is
Yeah.
extremely important. However, as we grow and as we mature, we understand that the soft skills play a role. Could you please tell us a little bit more in your journey how this happened and when you realized it?
I'm not sure if I had like a key moment that I can remember now, like a series of events that happened, especially in the past year during the pandemic, even because, for example, I'm horrible at public speaking. I always got really anxious and nervous, and I pushed myself to start doing public speaking more. And because I saw that I was really bad at that, and I knew that, I started learning about communication. I was like watching loads of psychology, even videos explaining how, and then I was a bit even like going to the scientific kind of explanations and what you could do to improve. So it was even like learning about how you can create or use the dopamine of your brain, just like using positive thinking, start meditating as well. Funny enough, I never thought about this when I was younger, but it does make a difference. I don't know if it's because when we are young we are more positive about life, and then we become more experienced, and then you need this like kind of motivation. But when I say like positive things to talk about and push the dopamine and create, or I don't know exactly how, or produce dopamine in your brain, is more like the things that made me think some positive, and how you approach people as well. This is actually I learned not too long ago. Networking is something that I'm not good at. I never know how to approach people in these network events, and I started doing that because I need as part of the startup journey that I'm taking. And network is always really, really important, but now it's even more than ever for me. Those chit chats that people just say, hey, what do you do? What are you doing here? That is like, oh my God, for me, it's just a nightmare. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't mean anything. Everybody asks the same thing, and then you need to repeat. And then there was a tip that I heard, and you are kind to the person that you are talking to, and motivate them to also like release the dopamine in their brain, and they are more like the conversation we get a bit more positive. Is instead of like asking these basic questions, you just go and ask, what was exciting about your day today? And then the person starts to think about the excitement they have. So this kind of releases the dopamine or create the dopamine in their brain. It's such a small thing, but it is true. Like, you just like, and it's all about mindset. You just like put your mind in the positive side of things. You think, and that is, it's just changed completely the way and the path of the conversation. And I think in my life, I never thought about that before, and I never stopped to think about it. But it does make sense, and yeah, there is like research about that, and yeah, it's just about mindset. I also believe that and this is also like research proof. Exercise, workouts of these, they help you to have a better mood, and then therefore it's like a cycle, mind changing the body and body changing the mind. I feel like a philosophical kind of person now, but it's true. Like I have been applying this in my life for the past 4 or 5 years, and I can definitely see the difference. So I do recommend everybody to try at least. I don't think there was like one event, it was like a series of events, but especially after or during the pandemic, that I noticed that I had to push a bit of my soft skills. Yeah.
Yes, what you mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, it's called positive enforcement.
I always like try to be in the solution kind of mindset just after, and be positive. Yeah, positive about it. Like, okay, this is a problem I need to solve, and then I'm really practical. But yeah, I'm not saying that I'm gonna be amazing, happy all the time, which I would hate as well. Life would be really, really boring if I would say I would be happy and everything's amazing, positive. No, I'm not gonna be this person ever, and I don't think this works as well. But yeah, it's just about trying to, as soon as you get out of this negative mindset, just like try to, yeah.
And you are totally right about what you say, because as you mentioned as well, there are studies that showing clearly that the way that you choose to move forward into the problems, they are always there, and you gotta choose if you're gonna deal with them in a very serious and not that happy way,
Yeah.
or if you're gonna do a good job and move forward with a positive mind. This
Exactly.
really helps, because it shows that person who have a more positive mindset, they have higher resilience, so they can endure even more, because you never know how far this crazy train are going through.
Yeah, you build resilience, right? And I think if you're positive, your mind is a bit more kind of growth, and you can see more possibilities, more like solutions to the problem. Because when you are negative and you are always like having this, oh my god, my life sucks, blah blah blah, it's hard to see outside of the box. And lots of people use this expression. I hate that as well. But it's hard to get out of the bubble of negativity and just, okay, let's move forward. Let's just like think about how I can fix that. And I think this makes a lot of difference. And I had that before. I think I never really stopped and actually put this into words or thought more about it. But for us that work in tech, we need to like find solutions all the time for the problems. So it's kind of like, okay, let's just find what we can do, and then we come up with brainstorm, we come up with like loads of different ideas. And I always in my professional career and even like personal ones, I always try to think completely not following all the path that people they present to me. And maybe this is a bit of like QA as well mindset, because we try to break things, right? So we try to think about like completely different things that could happen and break. And same with solution wise, I always try to or maybe I do it and try. It's just like natural at this point. But I always like think about things that majority of people they wouldn't think because it's not traditional. For example, oh, you have a problem, and then people would say, "Oh, Rafa, this is not best practice or whatever." I'm like practical, get the job done. That's it. And if we need to fix after, we need to fix after. But you know, what is important to worry right now? We need to deliver, or you know, we need to fix this. Let's do this, and then next, you know, I also always put my mind to think outside of that normal path that people would think first. But yeah.
Yes, what you say is very important, and I also learn with the best engineers and people in tech that I ever met. First, is it functional? Yes. Is it maintainable? No.
Mm,
It means it's working, it's getting what it means to be done.
done, yeah.
However, in that to refactor. If you
Mm-hmm.
want this, you can ship right now, but it's going to be refactor.
Yeah, yeah, and I was like working MVP not too long ago, and then things were not working, and this was like a Friday, and then I was with the developer until I don't know 2 a.m. trying to fix the problem, and I saw, look, the founder has a presentation to do on Monday afternoon, and it's Friday 2 a.m. The developer wouldn't be able to have a look on this on Saturday. I didn't have time as well to check on Saturday. And then I said, let's play safe and do what it needs to be done for the moment. So we just like hard coded because it was a presentation. We told to the founder, like, look, let's just stick to the plan and that's it. And then of course this doesn't mean it's functional, it's working, it's not working how it should. But you know, in the for the time frame and for the purpose of short term goals was there, and that's it. And yeah, there was no problem. So I think most of people they would try to go all over like the weekend, and then would because you're fixing these, you might have the risk to introduce new bugs and not have enough time to fix, and then it would be like a snowball. I just thought, no, let's not put this problem, let's not make things worse. Let's just like focus, deliver this, and then we deal with the tech debt after and fix this properly after. So yeah, I think it's not really it's not really the path that majority people would take. But I just thought, yeah, risky wise is a bit like, yeah, too much.
I see this as a very good trade-off, and I can give example of the opposite. Once I was working in a pair programming, and was developing, we was doing in the proper way. We was doing a good job, we was solving things. However, I was already tired. Instead of stop there, go home, back to the next day, we said, well, we came this far, so let's just tweak something, which we did.
Okay.
And of course, we remember much what we was doing already. We was very tired.
Okay.
And we spent minutes doing whatever we did.
Okay.
Then we went home, take a rest, we're back in the next day. Fix that 15 minutes cost
Really?
2 hours.
Oh, I know, Nate. And you know what? Sometimes we just don't realize and don't think it is. But yeah, sometimes this 15 minutes extra, or, this like, oh yeah, let's finish this. And yeah, you're doing the proper way. But then you're tired. And then, yeah, you need to take all of these into consideration, because sometimes you think, yeah, okay, we can finish and we can speed up. In the end, it's just slowing you down. It's something like AI as well. I was in this meetup last week, and we were talking about AI versus people, and lots of companies, of course, and lots of people, they want to use AI in their like test automation or in their process. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're just like following whatever AI is saying, or just trying to implement AI without actually knowing how you're going to use it, instead of like speed up the process, can make things slow. down. So I think people don't realize that as well, because they just like are in the hype of, yeah, let's try to, push forward and be, more efficient, blah blah blah. But it needs to have some kind of plan and some kind of conscious awareness as well around that.
I'm pretty sure that you are aware of it. We are going to a world now. We are actually shaping it. We are having a huge amount of investment, and we may have crashes. Exactly, crashes that are not handled in the proper way because there are no people in there. There are no supervision. Is pretty much
Oh,
automated, and we
mhm.
already learned AI comes with something complicated called hallucination.
Yeah.
Means that over time, AI is not getting better. It's actually deteriorating.
I don't know. I always try to this is how I learn as well. Sometimes I just like to hear completely like opposite opinions and see if they make sense and see the reasons and the research behind that. And I heard like both of the things. So yeah, the sometimes it just get completely delusional more than my mom. And yeah, you definitely need to have like a person to review whatever the AI is doing, because if you are just like doing blindly what they are saying, that's it. You are risking too much. Just because AI is hype and oh yeah, they're gonna solve everything and speed up the process. You still need like somebody to review and audit kind of the data. And I think when I was in this meetup, they also said that the data sets matter a lot. So, where are you taking the models and the data sets from? Because they are biased. And if you're taking, like, I think it's ChatGPT had this problem. I think another one is the DeepSeek right now. They are all biased because they are relying on data that human beings created, and we are biased. So you need to be really deterministic with what the data set that you are going to take from. And if it's something that has any kind of human interaction or human opinion, and there's no data like, mathematical or scientifically proven, then it's better not to trust that much then.
Yes, you are right. And this brings new and exciting problems because, as we know, even in science, today we prove something based in what we know. However,
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, as we know more, we may prove ourselves wrong about
Yeah.
the it's hard for AI to deal with it because right now AI is not AI as it should be. It's not smart, it's not intelligent, it's not
No,
creative, just
no.
replicate what is known.
Yeah, exactly. And I was in another webinar that was, I think it was Solana blockchain, so nothing about is not AI, but they were talking about it, AI, and they were saying and making clear because, people they think they can trust 100%. And basically, no, it's just a tool. It's just something that we can use to brainstorm, but we still need to review. And also, we are the brain. AI is just like doing whatever is being told and getting the data that is might be biased because is there is like some kind of a human element to the data that is there and is collecting. And unless, as I said, unless the data sets is like deterministic and everything. But yeah, I can definitely see that is including also is including more problems in terms of like you don't know what is fake and what is not. And now it's just like getting worse and worse because you can create anything. You can create like even like my LinkedIn picture from last year, maybe I was using the entire year, was AI generated. Nobody knew. Everybody thought it was a professional picture, and then I thought, no. So I need, and this goes to my family or my friends. They might receive like any kind of information or like picture from or like and they can this can be completely fake, and they will be completely like yeah, that is true. And I think there is one company or two that they are exactly battling against that and trying to analyze the pictures, the audios, and everything just to see if it's AI generated. Because if it is, then they are gonna flag. It's like anti-fraud thing, but it's still not there. I think it's a bit hard nowadays. is AI battling with AI, basically.
Yes, I heard something similar about the job recruiting and also the industry right, related to recruiting,
Really?
where the candidate
Mm.
sends a resume that has been created by AI
Mm-hmm.
into a system,
Mm-hmm.
which is also with a AI agent that we're gonna evaluate that resume created by AI. So pretty much to another and rejecting each other.
Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, gosh, yeah, I should try that because nowadays it's hard to pass the first stage of CV review exactly because people are using AI and loads of scripts and bots just to do the first as like vetting, and then you don't even get to the interview just because you are rejected straight away just because you didn't use the keywords or something like that. That is interesting. I'm gonna have a look.
All right. And what advice would you give to someone starting in your field today?
I think it's something that I didn't give that much value in the beginning, which is community, the power of community and the portfolio. Because if you are in the entrance level, you don't have experience. And I don't think experience is a really good measure anyway to prove somebody's knowledge. I think exposure is a lot more because you can, like me, I work in a 9 to 5 job, but then I also learn outside and I do things outside of my commercial job, and this gives you a bit of exposure. Be part of a community. They are everybody. I never had any problems with people being like when you're playing Counter Strike or League of Legends that people are really toxic with you. Usually, tech communities they are really nice and people they try to help you without asking for anything. Just because it's a kind of a chain that the person is a bit more senior and is able to and is happy and able to help others that are in the beginning, so everybody's really helpful. And also like create your portfolio, so even though you are not working with something in the commercial job, definitely start creating different projects outside of your like a hobby, even like pick up freelance projects just to increase your exposure and the experience, as people say, and yeah, upskill yourself as maximum as possible. If you can also, and if you have time, join any kind of open source project to do some contributions, get some like extra knowledge from these people. Hackathons I do suggest as well because it's good. I know that is something that I haven't done in the beginning of my career, but I can see it makes a lot of difference. Network, if you show that you care and you're there you're committed to learn and everything, people are gonna think straight away about you, even though there's like 100 candidates. You just need, especially because we were saying like there is AI vetting the CVs and everything. Those are the advice that I can give you. I wish I knew before as well.
Understood. So, one, improve your hard skills. Of course, exposing yourself to new technologies, side projects, freelancers, communities, all of these things. And develop your soft skills by getting to know people and spending time with them, like we are doing here during this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's and even like a conversation, it makes such a difference because you're always like learning something new. And is that, and even when you're teaching, like when you're learning, is obviously you're learning something, but even when you're teaching, you're kind of learning things as well because you learn how you explain something in a different way, and you improve your communication skills in terms of like, okay, the arguments that you use, and also it tests your knowledge because you're teaching something. So if you know like basic, you need to push yourself to learn even more, and then you realize the skill gaps or the knowledge gaps that you have when you're teaching somebody, and then you go in the background and then you learn after. Yeah, even when you're teaching, you're learning. So that's why totally I'm in the education space as well.
Very good, very good. Thanks for that. Those are very valuable suggestions for not only the younger people, but also anyone else that is out there and is
Yeah.
developing, changing for different markets or just learning new skills is really good.
Yeah, even for seniors, because when we are working in like in a position or industry for so long that we think, oh, okay, I don't need to learn anything new, or I don't need to learn. Yeah, basically you just like go back to the community and teach people, and you are learning as well as you go. So it's like a different way to learn. Maybe you are not learning a new technology.
And how do you deal with failure?
Oh, yeah, that is again the positive mindset and moving forward, and also like being really practical about it, which sometimes is not good for some people depending on the failure, because I just want to move forward, and then if there is like human being like kind of involved in the middle of the problem, then you need to be a bit more, maybe less practical and more thinking about the and diplomat side and all that. But I always keep moving forward. As I said before, it's just some things that I need to take time to digest, wait and process, wait and process all the information that I have. And then after this, I just, this time, which everybody has a different kind of time in their minds, then I start to kind of think, okay, what do I want now and what do I want in the future? And I always try to be really strategic about it, because some people, they go straight with the emotions, and then they don't think about, okay, I could have done that, or I could just have waited and pushed through and everything. And I remember there was this friend of mine. He was really bored with everything he was doing there. So I said to him, he said, oh, I'm gonna go and just look for another job straight away, blah blah blah. He was really upset about it. And then I said to him, look, you can do that. You can always look for another job, but if you're bored there and it's flexible, and you can learn from outside, then I do recommend you do that, because sometimes you are in a job, you're not learning that much, but you have the flexibility to do something else, or working yourself, like going to the gym, or like learn something from outside, or do a freelance job, or do, like, I don't know, some course, or contribute to open source community. You're still improving yourself, and you have the flexibility. So imagine how many people would like to have like a job that they are still being paid to do the job, but they have the flexibility, and it's not really common. Usually, if you are in a 9-to-5 job, you need to like put a lot of effort. He just quit, and then he was without a job for like 3 months. Of course, sometimes you just like talk to your boss, and then they, oh, okay, fine, we are gonna put you on another project, or we are gonna like upskill yourself. It all depends on the situation. But yeah, I just gave this example because in the end, work it out for him as well. So quitting is still a solution, right? But if you can handle the first problem in a way that is is benefit for you, and you kind of push through to find like a middle ground, and everything is more valuable than just quitting. You're like taking the responsibility to find a solution, and then just moving your focus, is the growth mindset, because quitting is really easy, right? As you said, it's like quitting if you have another job, or if you can give you the luxury to be without job for 3, 4, 5 months. But finding a solution, inside of the job is kind of changes you as well, because I keep saying that, but I have been 16 years in tech, and I usually don't stay more than 2, 3 years in the company. But then it's because I'm not learning anything, or because I have some kind of like goals that I cannot reach inside of the company, or that was a temporary solution or temporary job anyway. So there are different reasons why I usually leave a job, but majority of them is definitely because I get bored and I'm not learning anything. The mindset makes a difference when you're like, okay, what do I want right now, and can I learn this from outside? Maybe if I changed my mind, in the beginning of my career, and I was like, okay, I can stay here and learn how to deal with the situation and learn the other things like tech wise, like outside. I would have done that in the past many times. So
And the environment is something very important, as you mentioned, because you could be learning, you could be earning, or the best case, both of them. The worst case, you are not learning, you're not earning.
yeah, and also as I said, like the environment is important. So yeah, sometimes you're not earning, you're not learning, you don't have the flexibility, you don't have support from the company, and they don't want to do anything for you. And also they are like it's a toxic environment that it makes you sick mentally. So there are like many reasons why you can quit a job, but yeah, you can see majority of them is not because you are not able to do the task or you're not able to do something. Is basically related to people and how they handle a problem inside. Like even when you get bored about doing something, even if it is, you can see that sometimes it's not a majority of times it's not a tech problem. It's just like, okay, you have a problem and you're bored. You could like learn outside of the work, or the company could like give you some kind of support to change to another area, because you're inside, they trust you and all that. So yeah, sometimes it's just these situations that you need to deal with. And I wish I knew that before. I wish I knew that I could just stay there and just continue with the because majority of the jobs that I have been, I never had like big problems with like people and the team in general. Was more because the company couldn't give me what I wanted, or I didn't have the flexibility. Actually, I can thinking right now, I think I can put like three, four reasons. So, as I said, flexibility is important for me. Then, of course, I need to pay the bills, and hopefully, I can pay the bills, and it's gonna save some money to do extra things, and also like the team structure and environment. So I think that these three are the most important things for me. If I don't have two, then I usually quit. So this is what happens. If I have one, then it's good, but it's not good enough. So I need to have at least two of these three pillars, I would say. We are dealing with like inflation right now going everywhere. As we were like talking before, there are not too many jobs, and the ones that are out there, it's like 30, 40, 100 candidates fighting for one sometimes. So is not that good, the job market at the moment. So that's why I do recommend people to have like freelance kind of uh jobs outside as well, just in case. It's like investment, right? You don't put all your investments in only one place. So with jobs right now and revenue streams, I wouldn't recommend you put in one place only.
Yes, things has changed over the decades, and they have become a bit more complicated. However, you can share with us your experience about COVID, because during that time,
Mm-hmm,
we had the Great Resignation, where a
mm-hmm,
lot of people had job offers, and of course, the market was in need of more skilled professionals.
mm-hmm.
Right after, we have the quiet quitting, where people was doing the bare minimum, maybe because they found themselves in an environment that was not that amazing. Maybe they accept the offer, and they went to a place that they didn't research well before they joining there. I
Oh
know a couple
yeah.
of people which find themselves on this, and they adapt the quiet quitting. So how was for you? How the COVID-19 changed the way you see and think? Because it was quite drastic everywhere, right?
Yeah, yeah. So for me, what changed was I took advantage of it. This, to be honest, most of people they were. I'm introvert. I was really glad to not be obligated to go to the office. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I have 2 hours of my day back. Just because I don't need to go to the office. Actually, even more because if you think like, before you go, before I, because I have like other responsibilities of not only work, right? So I need to walk my dog in the morning, and then I need to come back and then course, hopefully I'm gonna be able to take some coffee. If not, then it's fine. But it's something that would be nice to have before actually leaving the house. And then shower, get dressed, blah blah, blah, and then going to the place. So if you think of pandemic was really bad for loads of people, and I get it, but because I'm an introvert, and also I value my time a lot. I just taking the tube and getting dressed to go to be part of society because you need to, right? You're not gonna go stink to the places and looking like with pajamas. I wish I could, but yeah, and walking my dog really early in the morning, that gave me back, I don't know, maybe 4 hours of my day, which I could do other upskilling myself, which I have done. That's exactly the time that I was pushing more for Web3 and blockchain, learning more. And also I was pushing myself to do loads of public speaking because I'm an introvert. I knew that was bad. So I just thought, you know what, this is the best moment that I can actually try to do that. And I'm not going to feel that anxiety because, of course, I have anxiety when I do presentations, even when it's online, not only presential, but online is much better and feel more comfortable. So I start doing the talks, and the public speaking was remotely webinar, of course, because of pandemic. So for me, it was great because I could take advantage of that, and I wouldn't. And because before everybody was asking to be presential kind of meetup, and if you're a speaker, you had to be there. And I just thought, oh my god, I'm not ready for that. So that was such a good push to do it, and yeah, learn about how improving my public speaking and pushing myself. And then I started doing a lot because before I only had the blog and just the writing posts, sharing my knowledge. And yeah, through was during the pandemic when I actually started doing something with this public speaking. And I actually went to this award last week as well, and it was really interesting histories. Some people, they got really bored, they got depressed, and all of this during the pandemic. They didn't have anything to do. Some of them, their hobbies, they were all outside. You couldn't go outside anymore. It's just amazing, isn't it? Most of people, they got, and this again, it goes back to the mindset and all of these. Some people, they would get really down. Some people, they got really down and really depressed during pandemic, or they didn't know what to do with themselves. If it was up to me, we would be inside of the house all the time.
All right, all right. And what qualities do you value most in your colleagues?
Definitely support. When you are in a team, I think if you need some help, whatever you are doing, whatever your position, you're gonna be down to help somehow. Even if it's brainstorm or emotional support, you're gonna be next to the person saying, "Yeah, you can do it." Although for me, it doesn't work much. That doesn't mean much as well. But I appreciate, of course, the gesture to help. Whatever is the way, and the way they try to support you. And also another one is integrity. I do value that a lot. Not only colleagues work, but in general. I don't force any kind of a friendship or any kind of a relationship that this is not the basic, and the person has no integrity. That is a big no for me, a deal breaker. Big, yeah. Integrity for me is part of your character, so this is not something that you can learn. Although support is something that you can always say, look, I need that, and then the person can learn. But integrity, I don't think you can actually learn if you don't have this by heart. But
Like her, integrity is
yeah,
non-negotiable.
no, it's a deal breaker, definitely. And yeah, if the person doesn't have, I'm not, I don't really believe it. Soft skills, they take loads of time to learn, a lot more than technical skills, I think. But yeah, there are some things that if you don't have in your character, I think you won't learn that as well. But this is my belief. I don't know, maybe in 10, 20 years, you might be able to learn after loads of experience. But and I'm just like keeping the relationship here. We are gonna do this job together, and that's what matters. Maybe something that I need to learn, but yeah, definitely, because politics is quite, I hate, but it's quite important, and in the end of the day, can open doors to you. Yeah, for now, for me, what really is important is like being cordial, diplomat.
Yeah, and the other thing that I learn and understand from them is that this is not difficult. The moment that you understand, you can control yourself. It's the only thing you can do. You cannot control anything else. So as long as you can control yourself and you just move along, you're gonna
Yeah,
be fine. One, because we all know this world is a roller coaster.
I get along with majority of people, and that's true. It's just because I keep like the kind, cordial, and I just try to not burn bridges with anybody. And I think this is important anyway, because you never know, exactly as you said. Life is a roller coaster. You don't know when you're gonna need somebody or when the person is gonna need you. Yeah, and just move forward as we were saying, like, and this goes back to the beginning, right? We just need to keep going, be strategic about it. And they kind of like, yeah, oh, to be honest, yeah, if you are dealing with a colleague and the person, you see that there's no integrity or anything like that, just be strategic about it. But the one thing that I would never do in my life is like licking boots, just to get like a friend or something like that. That is beyond. Then this is like not being true to myself, and then would be like a lack of integrity from my side, and then I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So as long as it's not like passing my boundaries, then yes, I can you know be
That's
more
the way.
strategic about it.
Exactly. That's the way. Do not compromise your sleep into the night. And
No.
you already passed through a lot of pain. You don't need to torture yourself more than
Yeah,
next.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, just need to be a bit more aware of that as well, because some people, they don't care. Um, like I remember there was this friend of mine. We were like going to network events, and she was like going and talking to everybody, and she saw that I'm introvert, right? So I was like in the corner, and then she was saying, "Oh, Rafa, just like say hi to everybody, blah blah blah." And then there was a guy that told me, "Why are you in the corner? You should like be talking with everybody here, because everybody here would be really happy to talk to you and give you like investment and everything." And then I thought, yeah, but this is not the way that I want to get an investor to come and like talk to me and learn about my business. And yeah, that was something that I used to go and stay in the corner, um, just because I thought, yeah, this would be like compromising my integrity and my beliefs. I can obviously talk to everybody, but not in the way that for that I felt that he was like, and my friend also, they were like, suggesting. So I thought, yeah, no, not for me, but yeah.
All right, very good. And this question is very hard question.
Oh.
Uh, wish you all the best answering it because what does work-life balance mean to you, and how do you achieve it?
I'm gonna say actually this is a really interesting one, because I have seen Jeff Bezos replying this one, and that is exactly how I feel as well. Um, People think work-life balance is something you work 9 to 5, and then you're happy to do whatever you want in the evening. But this is, I can see this is more like relatable to people that are not really happy with what they are doing sometimes. And sometimes I need to work until 3 a.m. It's tiring, I know, but I need to solve problems. But other times, then I go out and I hike with my friend in the countryside. Um, but if I need to pick up like a call 20 minutes in the middle of this hike, I'm happy to do it. And I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind to also work, during the weekends and during the evening. I actually enjoy that, um, because I'm happy to do what I do, and majority of people, they just don't want to work after 5 p.m. They don't want to pick up anything up before 9 because they are not being paid off. But again, this is like a normal 9 to 5 job. If you have your own business going on, your mindset changes a bit because you don't really mind to work. You actually like it because you're doing something, you know, you have a bigger goal and you have a big picture that you want to, reach, and you have like a purpose that is much bigger than, just paying your salary. Sometimes you don't even earn to do this job. So what Jeff Bezos was saying was more like life, work, life harmony. So if you're happy with the flexibility and working evenings or working one evening till 2 a.m. and then the other day you go hike and then you need to pick up a call, or the other day you don't work until 5 p.m. but then you work in the evening and you're happy to do it. That's it. As long as you are happy to do these things, then it's fine. But I get it that majority of people, they don't want to work, in the evenings, or they feel it's like, oh, that is too much. But for me, it's not. So I cannot relate. Sometimes I'm tired and then I don't work, but sometimes I just work until 3 a.m. And I know that it's not every day doing that. It's just temporary, just maybe for 2 3 months, or it's just one day a week, or maybe it's 2 days a week. But I know that this is all temporary, and because I'm happy to do it, I don't feel like it needs to have a balance. But as long as you're happy with the work life routine that you have, then that's it. But if you're not happy, then that is the problem. But I don't think it's balance related. It's how happy you are to, with the routine, work life balance routine that you have. It's interesting question, but I kind of, yeah, don't have this answer, to be honest. I know what works for me, but I know that doesn't work for everybody. I always thought I was like really happy with what I was doing. But of course, like there are moments that was, especially when I was in Brazil, when I was like, I was living in Santos and then working, going to São Paulo, and I had to wake up like 4:30 a.m. and I was like going there, working. Then I was coming back and I was still, or I was at uni, or I was doing my business master, MBA, or I was studying English, or I was going to the gym. So basically, I was arriving at home like 11 p.m. I had like 4 hours of sleep. This was for 2 3 years. Of course, I don't have the energy that I had at the moment, but I always had this goal in my mind, and I was happy to, compromise some things. Same, some days here I compromise my sleep, some days I compromise my physical health, sometimes I compromise, walking, my mental health, like, which I consider like walking my dog in the morning is really good for my mind. So sometimes I compromise these kind of things, and that's okay, because I know that this is not gonna be forever. And especially in the beginning, when you're building your own business, you need to give like an extra push, and you need to like put a lot of effort. Um, and as long as you're happy to do it, then yeah, it's, as I said, the work-life balance, harmony, is fine. And yeah, if you can have like, of course, some breaks, because you don't want to have a burnout, that is amazing. But yeah, this is entrepreneurship is something that you work a lot. You might have, this is a really bad concept. People thinking, oh, you have like loads of flexibility. No, not all the time. Sometimes you don't have, you need to do something and then you stop whatever you need to do and then you do it. And sometimes you need to work until 2 a.m. Sometimes you don't have weekends. Sometimes you don't see your friends for like a long time and you don't have social life. Um, but as long as you're happy and you know that it's a temporary and you're pushing things through and this is gonna, you're trying. So yeah, I know that Jeff Bezos is another word, and he has another kind of schedule. For example, when I was in 9 to 5 job, I was really happy as well to finish at 5 and not touching anything. things change when you have your own thing going on. And also, I think even like when I have like when I was in nine to five jobs, um, if I had to deliver something, and I said, okay, this needs to be delivered today, I wouldn't mind to stay, until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. trying to fix whatever I had to fix. Um, but yeah, I never, I don't know, I never felt like depressed or that I was not happy with my work life balance. Apart from the actually going to work and coming back to work, the commute of going to the office is what kills me. Sometimes I need to go, but if I can have this flexibility and majority of time I can avoid, then that's great. Sometimes I cannot avoid as again, but as long as it's not like daily basis and something that I need to compromise here and there, then it's fine. But yeah, work life harmony is more something that I think is possible.
Very good.
That's why I don't think you should rely on the job that much, and you should upskill yourself outside of the job. And you also, if you can, do other revenue streams because it's not reliable. It's not like all the generation of our parents that they were like spending 20, 30 years their whole life in the same company. Nowadays people they move jobs like much quicker, and that's another reason why companies they don't want to invest in the employee anymore because they know that 2, 3 years they're gonna move to another one. And I'm reading a book about liquid times. Liquid times is about living the age of uncertainty. Is exactly about this, like how things are moving so fast. Now with AI, it's just gonna get worse and worse. So nothing is stable anymore.
What has been your biggest professional challenge and how did you overcome it?
One thing is my own ego. I when I was young, of course, I thought I knew everything, and uh, I was, uh, really well um, knowledgeable, and I had like loads of like. This was really hard because then I have like relationship with everybody. Things were gonna be easier as a team, and we would be able to get more help from each other. Just because of this kind of friend, even that was fake friendship.
Balance.
We yeah, we would be able to create a bond. Yeah, exactly, and move faster as a team and get. And this is was one thing that I never got it. If I had to, help somebody, I would help regardless because we are like a team. We are moving forward, but there is something there about the soft skills that would make things easier to deal in a crisis or a problem that we need to go through. And yeah, when you have this kind of yeah bonds together, it's just easier to find a solution and brainstorm things, and you see things with a more positive mindset again. But yeah, so my own ego and getting and understanding what the person meant by these feedbacks that I thought this is not going anywhere. Like I'm really good technically speaking, what he's talking about, and I was always pissed off. But I didn't see this, and nowadays I learn how to see things a more deep meaning instead of like just the superficial what they are saying. Because sometimes the person is just not able to communicate this to you and not able to explain that to you, but this is what they meant. And yeah, politics is always something that I struggle with. um I always yeah, I always kind of lose the admiration for people that I can see they make the boots of like manager or anything like that just because they want to get a promotion. And this is something that I still struggle with. But sometimes it's needed.
And Rafa, what moment in your life defined who you are today? Because it's a really big amount of things that happen to you in the personal way, in the
Yeah,
professional way, and also a lot of changes, right? You worked in different companies with different technologies and also in
yeah.
different countries together.
Yeah. Lots of things they change me, but I think it's small. They are quite small compared to what happens to all of us during the childhood, and this is how we have the basis and we build on top of that. Um, but I think, yeah, for me, of course, divorce from my parents, they this was like splitting waters, they say, because then I just put myself and I put like these thing as like definitely not like a deal breaker. Like I'm super hyper independent. That's why I also like don't think having one job only is and or just having one skill or doing everything for one job is the way to go. I always like to share kind of the ways that I, for example, where do I take, you know, um, revenue is just one job, or should I go for like more options? I always go for more options. Um, like passive income. Another thing is like, friends. I think you should have like loads of different kind of groups of friends, and not clubbing all of them together. I always have like to have, kind of independent of each other, and so this is goes to all points of my life, not only professional but personal one as well. Also, like, how do you get, um dopamine. That's why I have like loads of hobbies. I don't have only one hobby. I play drums. I also like try to learn how to play piano, and they are completely like different ways. One is also like, I was doing jujitsu. I was doing Muay Thai before, and I go to the gym. So I have like loads of different sources to give me the same kind of need, like physical need or emotional need, or yeah, this applies to every point of my life. Being hyper independent because of I couldn't count with my parents when I was like younger. So I think it is kind of changing my mind completely in terms of how I deal with things and how I get what I need as a human being, emotional, professional, any point of my life. I always have more than one source to get what I need, and fulfill, the needs that I need, that I have. That is the biggest thing that happened in my life. Of course, the other things, they also change who I am, but in a small scale compared to the core of who I am. Yeah.
All right, Rafa, was really, really good to talk to you. There's a lot of very interesting things that you shared today about your journey, about a career, about the options that you can build up for yourself, about self-learning. And I would like to know if you have final thoughts.
Yes, I would like to invite people that are, as we said, career, and I'm really career oriented as well, and having like, to upskill yourself all the time, especially in tech. One of the things that we do, and I start this company, this startup, exactly because this is my mission, and because I have like worked in tech for all my life since I was a kid. Um, because both of my parents, they were developers, so I was in this industry regardless if I wanted. But last year, actually 2023, I started my own startup that is exactly helping people in tech with their career. We assess their gaps. So we use the LinkedIn CV portfolio on GitHub, and then with that information, we can build their career path depending on the market, the demand of the market, and also, um, their goals. And then we create this roadmap with what they need to do to improve and reach their goals. So it's not only video courses, and it's not only books or blog posts, but also like communities they need to be part of. Um, Also like open source, they can contribute, meetups, everything that is gonna. So it's not only one way to do things and to achieve that goal, but also like other things they can do outside of what the majority is doing and the traditional ways to learn and improve their careers, which is not only courses and videos and books to read. So yeah, basically, if you want to try, just go to the Chaincademy.com, and we were more focused on Web3 before, because this is one of the things that we were really pushing, the industry of Web3 and blockchain. But also nowadays we have expanded to Web2 and AI as well. And at the same time that we do that, we put you in the network. So you're part of this community of developers that we also communicate and send freelance jobs. So you can try the new skills that you have learned during the career roadmap that you're doing with us, or if you have the skill already and you want to apply in one of these freelance jobs that we have. And we also have startups that we work with, so that's why we can connect you to these freelance jobs and startup jobs.